today's episode of Monsters Among Us, we delve into the chilling and heartbreaking case of a young girl whose life was tragically cut short by the person she trusted most, her mother, Claudia Hernandez. On the surface, Claudia appeared to lead a seemingly normal life, often seen laughing, smiling, and engaging like a social media influencer. But beneath the facade, a dark and twisted reality was unfolding. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking and harrowing series of events that led to Airlie's devastating death.
Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time here, or if it's your first time watching my videos, hi. I know I say, like, look, I know I say, or I use it. Oh, that scared me.
Once upon a time, in San Jose, California, there was a young woman named Claudia Alicia Hernandez Santos. Known online as Alicia Santos, she was only 25 years old and had a passion for creating vlogs, especially ones meant to uplift and connect with other young women. Her journey on YouTube began on January 6, 2022, with her first video. She didn't upload many, just 4 videos in total, but it was her last one that would leave an indelible mark. That final video, heartbreakingly, became her most viewed. Its title bore the name of her 3-year-old daughter, Arlie Naomi Proctor Hernandez. 4 months before this video was shared with the world, Claudia's life was torn apart. In September, she endured an unspeakable loss, the death of her beloved little girl. And yet, on January 27, 2022, she released this deeply personal and poignant video, an echo of her grief and a tribute to the daughter she would never see grow up. Though her channel was small and her content few, that one video carried a weight of emotion that touched many hearts.
On today's video, as you guys saw the title, I'm going to be talking about my daughter, okay? I'm not going to be talking about how she passed away, but I'm going to be talking about who she was, like since before I got pregnant, when I got pregnant, you know, everything, because I want to talk about that. I want you guys to know who she was, because if she was alive, I would definitely have her in my videos, you know, and yeah, I just want you guys to know, you know, who she was. But
this video, at its core, was a heartfelt tribute to an unimaginable loss. Through her words, Claudia Alicia Hernandez Santos shared the tender story of her journey into motherhood, a journey filled with love, hope, and ultimately, heartbreak. She began by recounting how she met the father of her daughter, a tale woven with the excitement of young love and the discovery of their shared future. She spoke of the moment she learned she was pregnant and the overwhelming joy that came with the promise of a baby girl. The birth of her daughter was a moment of pure magic, a celebration of life and all the beauty it brings. But as her story unfolded, it turned toward unspeakable tragedy. With a heavy heart, Claudia revealed the heartbreaking loss of her little girl, a pain so profound, so unnatural, that no parent should ever have to endure it. Her words carried the weight of a mother's love and grief, resonating deeply with those who watched.
it's like, look, when she learned how to smile, she was like, my baby was such a happy baby. You guys don't understand, like, oh, my baby. Oh, I miss her. I'm gonna cry. It's crazy, you know, because when she passed away, she was with me. You know, of course, I'm her mom. Why would she not be with me, you know? But
what Claudia chose not to share in her video was the haunting truth behind the circumstances of her daughter's death. A story that led back to a small house in San Jose, known as the Alicia Apostles Proetus Church. Despite its name, it wasn't a traditional church, but rather a congregation that operated out of a modest home. This church was unlike most others. Its members held a fervent belief in exorcisms, a belief Claudia herself deeply shared. For reasons known only to her, Claudia became convinced that her precious daughter was possessed by demons. The tale grows darker from there, veiled in shadows and questions. What unfolded in that house of faith would become a grim chapter, leaving many to wonder how such conviction could lead to unimaginable tragedy. The story behind her loss was as mysterious as it was devastating, a secret she left untold in her tribute.
People move how they want to move, and people can think what they want to think, and if you know what happened to my daughter, then you know. But if you don't know, then you don't know, and the thing is, like, if you weren't there when she passed away, then whatever you want to believe or whatever you want to think that happened is not valid because you were not there. It's not the reality of how things happen, like I was there. I know what happened to her, and one thing I'm not going to do is lie about how she.
According to court records, the tragic events began on September 23, 2021. Claudia Alicia Hernandez Santos, then 25 years old, was home with her 3-year-old daughter. That night, the little girl was inconsolable, screaming and crying for hours. Claudia, searching for a reason, became convinced that this was no ordinary tantrum. To her, the cries were a sign of something far darker, possession by demons. I could see it in her eyes, Claudia would later claim. They looked empty. It wasn't her. This belief, shaped by her devout ties to a small house-based church in San Jose, consumed her thoughts. Desperate to save her child, Claudia took a drastic and horrifying step. She forced her fingers down the little girl's throat, convinced she could make her vomit out the supposed demon. The child, terrified and in pain, bit her mother in an attempt to resist. Frustrated and unrelenting, Claudia sought help. She turned to her family and faith. She and her brother carried the distraught child to the church, a house where the preacher, Rene, awaited. Rene wasn't just the church's leader. He was also Claudia's own father. What followed was a harrowing ordeal. Over the next 20 hours, the 3 adults, Claudia, her brother, and her father, subjected the child to unimaginable suffering. They held her in the air, beat her, and strangled her, all under the guise of prayer. Encircling her, they chanted and exorcised, desperately trying to cast out the demon they believed was inside her. But there was no demon. Their fervent rituals and relentless torment only stole away an innocent life. By the end of their ordeal, the little girl was gone. This horrifying tragedy casts a chilling shadow over the videos Claudia would later upload, where she spoke of love and grief for the daughter she herself had taken. The juxtaposition of those videos with the truth behind her actions is as haunting as it is unthinkable.
It's many reasons why God took her. That's something that gets to me because it's like people weren't even there, but they want to be out here saying this and that because of how the situation looks. But if you weren't there, then you don't know, and that's why what people say, or if you've heard something about what happened to my daughter, if it doesn't come from me, then it's not valid because you were not there. You were not there, and...
The evening of September 24th, 2021, marked the tragic end of a heartbreaking tale. Shortly after 8 p.m., Claudia Alicia Hernandez Santos picked up the phone and called the police. Her words were chilling. Her 3-year-old daughter had passed away. When officers arrived at the scene, they found the little girl lying unconscious on the floor. Despite their efforts, it was too late. She was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. An autopsy later revealed the grim truth. The child had died from asphyxiation and smothering, her tiny body bearing signs of horrific abuse. Brain swelling, blood in her lungs, and wounds on her neck and mouth painted a gruesome picture of her final hours. When confronted with the injuries that caused her daughter's death, Claudia denied responsibility. Yet the evidence was undeniable. Over the course of 20 agonizing hours, the little girl had been subjected to what could only be described as torture. An exorcism ritual gone tragically, irreversibly wrong. It was revealed that the child had likely passed away around 6 p.m., 2 hours before Claudia finally called for help. Her reasoning for the delay, as she later explained, was rooted in faith. Claudia claimed she spoke to God daily and that he had warned her of what was to come. "He told me she would be leaving soon," she said. And when her daughter finally took her last breath, Claudia confessed she wasn't shocked or even fazed. For Claudia, this was part of a divine plan, but for the rest of the world, it was a senseless, unimaginable loss, a heartbreaking reminder of the dangers of blind faith taken to devastating extremes.
Like I said, my baby was such a happy baby, and I don't know, I could sit here and be negative about the thing, like, oh, like, I wish I could go back and this and this and that, but it's like, there is no point of me doing that, because I cannot change what is, it is what it is. So I've learned to think positive, it is what it is, and it's like, what's the point? I'm just gonna be putting myself down. At the end, it's gonna be okay. You will be able to smile again. There's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, guys, I was gonna say something else, but se me olvidó. I honestly forgot, but but yeah, I let me see. Is there anything else? No, that's it. Okay.
On January 31st, 2022, just 4 days after releasing her emotional video, Claudia Alicia Hernandez Santos was booked into the Santa Clara County Jail. The grief-stricken mother who had shared her heartbreak online was now facing a grim reality: justice for her role in her daughter's tragic death. Claudia was charged with a felony count of assault on a child with force likely to cause great bodily injury, an act that ultimately resulted in the death of her 3-year-old daughter. But she wasn't the only one held accountable. Her brother and father, who had participated in the fatal exorcism ritual, were also charged with the same crime. In that moment, the facade of a grieving mother shattered, and the full weight of the devastating truth came to light. The story of Claudia and her family became one not only of loss, but of justice for a life taken far too soon.
This one is very difficult to stomach. The victim in this case was particularly vulnerable. She was a 3-year-old girl, and these were people that she trusts. It was her mother, her uncle, and her grandfather.
Thank you for watching. This tragic case is a stark reminder of the importance of protecting vulnerable children and the consequences of misguided beliefs. If you found this video informative, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it to help spread awareness. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we'll see you in the next video.